Hey, it's Gabrielle and welcome back to my channel. This episode I am meal prepping. We've got Creole, we got some Jamaican, we got some Asian, so come in the kitchen. Oh, and like and subscribe, because what are you doing here if not? All right, let's go to the kitchen. So I am done mise en placing and just setting up. I think whenever you're meal prepping or cooking at home, if you're preparing meals for the future, I just get like everything out and I separate things by my meat, bread, pastas, rice, produce, dairy, and that way I'm just like in the rhythm of things. For me, when I'm having to like go to cabinets and find my spices, like all my spices that I'm using is set out, like everything is set out, and I just think that helps with your organization, and you can put things up as you go, like as you finish recipes or as you finish items. I just be like, okay, cool, like boom, 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 I'm putting it away and it's done, right? So those are just my little tidbits. What is on the menu for this meal prep? I'm doing like 5 or 6 meals. I ended up getting these foil containers that I like from Smart & Final by this brand called First Street. And I like these containers, one, because they don't look like just like those regular black meal prep containers, and you can put these in the oven. So usually when I'm meal prepping, I'm making things that can last a few days. So that'll be like pastas, not a casserole, but just things that hold well, and I'll kind of go into more of that. But I like these because they have foil, so you can put, like, literally just take the lid off and put it in the oven and heat it in the oven, which I think just heats food better regardless, like anyway. So that is kind of how I'm about to set things up. Excuse maybe the quality on this too. I'm actually doing this on my phone because my camera SD card is full and I need another one, and I don't have time to clear it out. So we're just gonna rock with this. This shoots in 4K, so we'll hope for the best. Okay, let me talk about the menu. The menu that I'm doing, I'm gonna start off making my curry chicken and rice and peas and cabbage. That usually takes the longest just because that curry chicken is like simmering for a while, so I'm gonna start with that. That's one of my favorite, not even just meal prep recipes, but just meals to eat on during the week. And so my clients usually love that too. So I'm gonna start with that. I'm also doing some Rasta pastas with salmon and shrimp. I'm doing a pepper steak, like a black pepper steak with some jasmine rice and broccoli, kind of like a elevated beef and broccoli. Blackened catfish and dirty rice with some collard greens. So those are the meals that I'm doing. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. I'm not gonna do like step-by-step type of videos. Like I will have videos dedicated to that, but I feel like we're elevating now. So I'm kind of gonna just show you how I do things, and we're gonna put together things all together. But I want us to elevate in the kitchen a little bit this spring, so we kind of gonna be moving and grooving. Bobby and Singer is on, so I'm vibing. This will probably take a few hours, but it'll be worth it, and it's work anyway. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So keep in mind that this is a meal prep curry chicken. This is not necessarily something super authentic or something that you will find at a restaurant or in your home if your auntie made it, if you are Caribbean or something of the sort. But this is how I do mine, just like a quick little shortcut. So I like to season my chicken thighs with salt, fresh black pepper, onion powder, and garlic powder. Of course, because I'm a professional chef, I have like restaurant size seasoning, so don't mind that they are literally so big. I usually get my seasonings from either Costco or Restaurant Depot for that size. I also have some authentic curry powder, and so I add some of that. I really don't have the measurements for this, like I just let the ancestors guide me. But if you do need measurements, I would always recommend at least a teaspoon of each whenever you're seasoning chicken.
or maybe start off with a half teaspoon of salt so it won't be too salty. But you can also start with garlic powder and onion powder and all of your other seasonings, and then do the salt last. That way you know how much seasoning you really have. So I have my curry chicken thighs that I'm browning in some either grapeseed or avocado oil. It got a little toasty in there, but it's all good. I don't mind that. We got a good kind of char. I'm adding some fresh onion and garlic, and I'll usually just kind of cook this down for a few minutes until it's kind of translucent and fragrant. And then I also added these baby gold potatoes. Now, let me preface this by saying, usually I would peel a russet potato or something of the sort, but I've been needing to use these baby potatoes, so not necessarily all the way what I would prefer, but they still work, and they're super small, so just depends on how you like your potatoes. If you want to peel and chop up a russet or yellow potato, go ahead and have at it, but you can also use babies. I'm also adding a little bit more curry powder to this, and you can add more seasonings because obviously we just put like the onion and garlic and potatoes in there, and we want those to be seasoned as well. Sometimes when I'm eating curry chicken, I can just taste that like only the chicken was seasoned, and then everything else just got added, and then it was just like coconut milk and chicken broth added, and that was it. So if you want something super fragrant, always season at every level. I'm now adding some coconut milk. Again, I have literally a restaurant size container of coconut milk, but hey, it gets the job done. So I added coconut milk and also chicken stock. I don't think I showed this on camera, but either chicken stock or chicken broth. And I would say maybe like a cup to a cup and a half of each. And just let that simmer for a while. I usually put a lid on there and just let that simmer for at least like 30 to 40 minutes. While that is simmering, I always go ahead and start on my rice. This is a jasmine rice, and right now I'm washing it, giving it a good wash. And this just prevents your rice from being, super sticky and gummy and, kind of not the texture that we want. So this kind of gets rid of some of those starches that make your rice stick together. I like to wash and rinse a couple times. Use a colander or strainer if you need to, but I'm just kind of like giving this a hand treatment and giving this a good rinse until your water is like translucent. It shouldn't be murky or opaque. It should be able to be pretty see-through. So now I'm going to start on my rice. I have a little bit of oil cooking, and I like to add onion and garlic just to cook this off for a few minutes until it's fragrant. And then I'm also adding some ginger paste. I shortcutted that. You can also use fresh ginger, like a teaspoon of fresh ginger. And we're gonna saute all of that together until it's fragrant. I'm now adding, this is also kind of a shortcut, you don't have to do it this way, but I'm adding some kidney beans and also some jerk seasoning just to give those veggies and stuff some good seasoning, and that way my rice will be very fragrant. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my rice, and I'm kind of toasting my rice with everything that I just added in there. Once you do that, then add your chicken stock or chicken broth and let that simmer for a while. I also added coconut milk to kind of give me a creamy coconut rice situation. This is one of my favorite ways to make cabbage. If not my favorite way, go ahead and chop up some cabbage and add onion and the cabbage, garlic, of course, and whatever seasonings you want to add in there. I also am grating some carrot. You can add them chopped, however you like to eat your carrots, in like cabbage and carrots. You can also omit the carrots if carrots are not your thing, but just kind of gives it some pops of color. And I let this simmer for a little bit with chicken stock, or you could do water and add like chicken bouillon. Again, the jerk seasoning really brings this cabbage to life, and I use the Walker's Wood jerk seasoning. And yeah, after a while, it'll look like this. I like to have a little bit of a bite to my cabbage, so I don't cook it down for a long time. Cabbage is not like greens. You ain't got to cook it down for forever, okay? And now it's time to start prepping my containers. These particular meals are for a male client of mine, so these portions are pretty big. But again, if you're meal prepping for yourself, you might not need all of this. Just put however much you want to put in there. So I have the rice and peas, which are kind of like a creamy coconut milk rice and pea. If you don't want it as creamy, you can also omit the coconut milk when you're making this. But this is just the way that I made it on this particular day. Then we got the cabbage, of course, which are cabbage. I like to, weigh my things out, equal proportions on everything. And now I'm going to get that curried chicken thigh and put that and the potatoes on top. And that's it. After that, I'm going to garnish with either fresh scallions, which are green onions, or you could use some fresh chopped parsley, and that'll just kind of give the brown food a pop of color. I love Caribbean and Jamaican food, but unless you're using like peppers and stuff, a lot of things will be brown, which is fine. Like, of course, if you have plantain, like a lot of things are brown, so I like to add peppers or fresh herbs to give me some pops of color, just to lift and give us some vibrancy a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to chop up just some fresh herbs to put in my curry chicken, just to add some vibrancy. I don't like doing it like right at the beginning. Ooh, this one look a little crazy. Right at the beginning, because I don't want it to like wilt down and then it's like not green anymore, right? So usually kind of like halfway, 3/4 the way, I'll add just some fresh herbs, lift my dishes up a little bit. You can never go wrong with parsley. Parsley is like the salt and pepper of herbs. I feel like that's something that I say often, but you can never go wrong with parsley in this. Also thyme, which I don't have any thyme, but normally I would put thyme in this if I was like making this for a dinner, And then of course some green onions, some scallion. And I wanna just do this real fine. Woo.
Now chopping up some fresh pepper to, of course, add some color and vibrancy to our dirty rice. This is the way that I like to chop bell pepper. I literally feel like you could chop peppers so many ways, but in order for me to get like the strips that I like, and then I can go on the cross and do like my dices or like a fine chop, this is how I like to open my bell peppers. And now we have an array of sunshine. We've got all of those fresh peppers that's about to go in. I also could have added celery to this because I like celery in my dirty rice, just a fine chop, but whatever, we just gonna use what we have. So I already started browning some Wagyu ground beef into my skillet with a little bit of oil, not a whole bunch, because of course, when you're grounding beef or cooking any type of red meat, it's going to already come with a lot of fats and oils that you need for cooking. So I don't go too heavy on the oil. And I added my onions, garlic, pepper, all of that stuff. Then I ended up adding some jasmine rice, kind of how I did earlier, and then the chicken stock. And I just let that rice cook in the stock and the vegetables and seasonings, Cajun seasoning. And that's how I do my dirty rice. I know that was a quick little skim over, but that's what we got today. Gonna go ahead and start plating this off. I really feel like if I had more containers, I would have splitted some of these portions up, because these portions were entirely too huge. Like I literally could have did this with 6 containers, but I only got, I think 6 total. Yeah, 6 total, so.
All right. right, so I'm just going to season my catfish with some Louisiana Cajun seasoning, a little bit of Old Bay, just a little bit. I'm not going OD because I don't want it to be too salty, but I do want it to have some flavor. And then I'm gonna flip it and also season with some blackened seasoning.
It's time to cook our fish. So I'm going to get some avocado oil or grapeseed oil, which is what I usually cook with, and sear that on both sides, but a good sear probably takes like 2 to 3 minutes. I'm also cooking on gas, so if you're cooking on an electric stove top, it might take a little longer, maybe like 4 minutes, but you can kind of brown it to your liking. Then once I flip it over, I'm still letting it cook, but I'm going to add some fresh lemon. And anytime I'm cooking fish, I'm always going to be adding lemon or lime or some type of citrus. And in the finish of the cooking, I'm going to add a little butter, just to give us some gloss, a little bit of goodness. I can't go wrong with like butter, lemon, garlic, and fish. Like, it's just a great duo. I'm also going to season up some shrimp because I had some shrimp to use, and I'm going to season that with the same seasonings I did with my catfish, just kind of like a Cajun Creole type of house seasoning, super simple, super quick. And I'm going to cook those off the same way that I did my fish. Just looking for that nice brown. Anytime I'm making any type of meat, you want to just let your meat interact with the oil. Don't move it around and stir it with a spoon and all of that. Just let it get a good sear, like 2 to 3 minutes. And then I always just flip it and we'll have just like a good light brown color, but not too much either because I don't want it overcooked. We are all plated up. Of course, I gotta finish with some fresh lemon just because we have all that beautiful seafood in there, and so I want that to carry. And yeah, we got some Creole meal prep. This recipe is gonna kind of be a skim through, but I'm doing a black pepper steak, and I have some sirloin steak just seasoned. You could also use New York strip. I am cooking that off. While I'm cooking that off, I have some fresh bell pepper that I'm also going to chop up just to give me some vibrancy. Can't go wrong with that. And I'm going to heat that in a skillet and pretty much sear off my meat first, and then I add my peppers, kind of halfway cooking along with some sauces. And this is my black pepper steak. I did a video last week on the black pepper chicken if you look in what I eat in a week, so check out that for the sauces. I'm also adding some broccoli because I love broccoli, and that is going to be our meal prep for kind of this quick Asian meal prep. You could either eat this for lunch or dinner, but at some point in the week, I'm going to eat something like Asian or Japanese inspired. A stir fry, black pepper chicken, black pepper, whatever. You could do that, teriyaki, whatever. Just things that I enjoy and things that also reheat well. You can cook your steak to like medium well, but I wouldn't do a full well because then once you're reheating it, it'll kind of keep cooking. So I like to do a nice medium to medium well, and that's going to be my meal prep for this one. This one is not much of a recipe at all, but I ended up doing just a quick Rasta pasta and some salmon. I have some large shells. I didn't even end up stuffing them because I was kind of on a time crunch, but this is made with a coconut milk, so the sauce is non-dairy, which I enjoy for reheating, and it's a little bit healthier. I'll try to put the Rasta pasta sauce recipe somewhere, either in the description or in my mind. I kind of want to start back uploading recipes on my website, kind of under the blog section. So if you're for that, let me know, and maybe I'll start doing that just so y'all can have a point of reference, because like I said, I really just kind of be vibing sometimes, and when I'm in a rush, I'm not measuring anything. So for me to create a recipe really takes reflection and true like recounting for me to remember, okay, how much of this did I add to something? How much of this, should go in here for like the average person that's cooking. So in the meantime, we just gonna rock with this. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you want me to start including recipes on my website, or what is easier for you to kind of reflect on. All right, and this pasta and salmon is actually my last meal prep food item that I did. So I hope that you'll use these in your kitchen very, very soon, and I hope that you love them. As always, thank you for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. We out here, we going up on the tube, so be sure to like and subscribe to stay updated for new episodes, and I will see you in the kitchen very soon. Peace, love, and good food. Till next time.